local lawmaker in Pennsylvania is beyond frustrated. Actually, he's enraged over the fact that his Republican colleagues hid the fact that one of them had tested positive for coronavirus. Now, keep in mind that the Republican lawmakers in Pennsylvania are urging committees to reconvene, even if the pandemic is ongoing. In a lot of cases, according to what Democratic lawmakers are saying, they refuse to wear masks when these committees meet with one another. And so on Facebook, Pennsylvania State Representative Brian Sims puts out this video to express his absolute rage, which I can totally understand. We have two snippets for you. Let's take a look at the first.
Republican leadership knew that at least one of their members had tested positive for COVID-19, that other members who'd been exposed to him would eventually go on quarantine, but they didn't go on quarantine until they were done serving alongside us, especially those of us that serve on the state government committee. So for those of you that know, the Pennsylvania House of Representatives under our gerrymandered Republican leadership has been perhaps the most active state legislature in the entire country. And during that time period, during the entire COVID-19 crisis, the state government committee has been the place where all of these up bills to pretend that it is safe to go back to work have been going. And every single day of this crisis, the state government committee in Pennsylvania has met so that their members could line up one after one after one and explain that it was safe to go back to work. It was safe to go back to race car driving or dog grooming or getting your hair cut. Meanwhile, what we're learning is that during that time period, they were testing positive. They were notifying one another and they didn't notify us.
So that's the first part of the video where he just explains what went down and how it went down. And guys, you got to understand, someone withholding that information from you and also refusing to wear a mask or practice the social distancing guidelines not only puts this lawmaker at risk, it puts his family members at risk as well. And, you know, the answer, the response that we've gotten from the Republican lawmaker in question has been, well, you know, I tested positive, but it wasn't a big deal. I got over it quickly. That doesn't matter. You can still spread it. And just because it didn't affect you as badly as it could affect other people doesn't mean that you should be careless about it and just take up meetings, committee meetings, and potentially expose that virus to other people. Let's go to the second part of the video real quick, and then Cenk, I want your comments.
Diamond, apparently, many of you know as the person that has led the charge to open up the legislature, screaming every single day in committee about how we were safe and how there wasn't a risk, has apparently been quarantining himself for weeks. Of course, he didn't explain that to any of us when he was in committee, talking with us or walking up and down the aisles or bumping into us or letting us hold the door open for him. So here's what needs to happen. Here's what I think needs to happen. First of all, Mike Turzai, the Speaker of the House, needs to resign. And any member of leadership that has known what was going on, any member of Republican leadership that knew that members were testing positive, that other members were being quarantined, and did not tell those of us who were exposed to those members, needs to be investigated by the Attorney General. And I think that there needs to be prosecutions. I'm in a building right now surrounded by members that can't go see their kids, that are having to call their husbands, having to call their wives and saying, honey, I might have exposed you and everybody I love in this world because one of my colleagues tested positive, but he was protecting his family, but not protecting mine.
By the way, real quick before we get to your comments, Cenk, so Russ Diamond, who was referenced in the beginning of that clip, did respond. And this is the kind of nonsense you can expect from Republican lawmakers. On Twitter, he says, lefties whine because I self-quarantined, but I didn't get tested after positive COVID contact. Confirmed by my doc, no reason for testing, even if I could get tested without symptoms. I feel like $1 million. Well, $500,000 after lefties tax me. You can carry the virus and feel nothing. And then you can spread it to someone who has a completely different immune system and they can die. They just do not value lives. I never want to hear a Republican lawmaker talk about how they're pro-life ever again. They're full of crap, 100% full of crap.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to get at. I don't know if Russ Diamond is more guilty of being selfish and a terrible person or of just being incredibly dumb. So he's like, I feel like $1 million. What's the problem? You moron. Have you not read a single article about coronavirus? First of all, you could be asymptomatic and have it. Hence, you would feel like $1 million, but you still have it, and then you get sick later. But second of all, a lot of, in fact, the great majority of the people who get coronavirus actually do not get affected that badly by it. A lot of them don't get affected at all by it. And so that doesn't mean they can't pass it on. They definitely pass it on. And so if you were lucky enough that you were asymptomatic, okay, great. That's wonderful. That's good news. But if you go and hug your mom and she has a different immune system, or if you're even in the same room as her without a mask on, you could give her coronavirus, and then she, even though you felt like $1 million, there's an excellent chance she will die. And then you go, oh, golly gee, I don't know how that happened. I felt like $1 million. I don't get it. You know why you don't get it? Because you're an imbecile. And people vote for these Republicans. So look, if you're dumb and you want a dumb leader, then you vote for a Republican. I get it. But then, hey, when you get sick or your family member gets sick, hey, you better hope that you got lucky, because if you didn't get lucky and your immune system does not respond, in a good way to coronavirus, you'll be dead because you voted for dumb, uncaring, unempathetic, sociopathic leaders like Russ Diamond. So then don't come crying. It was anybody who votes for a Republican gets guys like Russ Diamond. And if at this point you're still surprised by that, come on, you're not paying any attention to the news. And if you're the media and you're still pretending, wow, I can't tell the difference between Democrats and Republicans, can't tell. Well, then you suck at being a reporter. There's a giant difference. And by the way, if you also can't tell what's wrong with corporate Democrats, and you can't tell the difference between a corporate Democrat and a progressive, you also suck as a reporter. But the reality is they can tell the difference. They just choose not to. And so that aids and abets people like Russ Diamond, who go around and are careless with other people's lives for their own selfish reasons. And then because they're so stupid, they go brag in public about, well, I don't get it, man. I felt good. Not having read one article, doesn't know one thing. And he's a legislator making laws and rules that apply to your life.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.